That's an expensive parade. The Washington Post reports U.S. officials estimate the cost of a military parade for President Trump could amount to $92 million, 3 times more than the original estimate by the White House. Officials say the Pentagon would spend around $50 million to cover the cost of aircrafts, equipment, personnel, and more. According to CNBC, the remaining $42 million would be paid for by other agencies such as the Department of Homeland Security. The parade would also likely be pushed to 2019 instead of the original proposed date of November 10th of this year. Helicopters, fighter jets, transport aircrafts, as well as historical military plane flyovers are all expected to be included in the parade. However, nothing appears to be concrete yet, and the size and scope of the military parade could still shift. Clearly, Trump is impressed with the military parades he's been seeing during his overseas trips, but is having his own worth spending $92 million of taxpayers' money? More Trump-tastic stories.
YouTube and advertisers boycott Trump-related news. YouTube and YouTube advertisers don't seem to like Donald Trump. At TomoNews, we've noticed a pattern. Any video mentioning Donald Trump, no matter how innocuous, doesn't get advertising. Take, for example, this animation on Donald Trump's presidential limo, which has generated more than 800,000 views. Who would be offended by that? YouTube and advertisers, apparently. This video earned us a healthy revenue stream from advertising, but then Donald Trump announced his controversial executive order banning travel from 7 Muslim countries, and advertising revenue plummeted. YouTube has completely demonetized the video. We checked other videos featuring Donald Trump and noticed a similar pattern. This video about the hair loss drug Propecia earns just 10% of what a normal video would get because the word Trump appears in the video's headline and metadata. And it doesn't matter if your video is for or against Trump. Just mention his name and YouTube punishes you by not giving you advertising. YouTube maintains a list of negative keywords. If you mention ISIS in your headline or metadata, you won't get advertising. YouTube apparently thinks Donald Trump is as bad as ISIS. It's no secret that Google has joined other Silicon Valley companies in opposing Trump's immigration ban. But we never thought Google would enact an advertising boycott on Trump-related news. That's bad for everyone.
Trump seems to have an uncontrollable fetish for dictators. President Donald Trump made history this week as he met Kim Jong-fatty, North Korea's murderous dictator, in Singapore. You know, the guy that fed his uncle to some dogs and has had hundreds of people killed. One thing that has become evidently clear is that Trump has a real affinity for dictators. Some say he may have the worst case of dictator envy in history. While meeting with the G7, Trump proposed letting shirtless Putin back into the G8, while at the same time just skipping over the invasion of Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea like it was his veggies. The problem is that as Trump gushes over dictators like Xi, his little henchmen Kim Fats, and pectorals Putin, he threatens the very democracy that protects the world from these evil douches. President Trump literally is the most powerful man in the world, yet he looks up to spineless autocrats and envies their strength. And with all this North Korea nonsense going on, Trump has once again been played. Because it's not North Korea that's causing the problems in Asia, it's China. Maybe Trump should ask Ivanka if there are any ancient Chinese fortune cookie proverbs to consult. Is the ISS about to go commercial? Heads up, investors, the International Space Station might soon be up for grabs. Trump is planning to cut off funding to the ISS after 2024 and wants to instead turn it over to the private sector. In his vision of events, the space station would be a commercially run venture. NASA won't be managing, and it will be just another client. Of course, at the moment, the president doesn't have anything specific in mind, but he will be requesting $150 million in funding to hammer out the plan. For all we know, it could be goodbye science experiments and hello space hotels. Or not, because, man, that's an expensive ride. If the US does give up its space outpost, there's no doubt Russia and China are going to swoop in to lead the space race. Apart from Trump and NASA's new administrator, though, no one else seems on board with this privatization mission. Even Ted Cruz called the idea extremely stupid. Here's hoping someone, everyone, can stop this madness. Someone's getting way ahead of themselves. The president of South Korea is rooting for Trump to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for helping bridge the North-South divide, And no, he's not joking. With the two Koreas now talking peace and denuclearization, President Moon Jae-in says it's mostly thanks to old Donald. The same peace-loving fella who threatened North Korea with nuclear annihilation just a year ago. Sure, the Trump administration has been hurling sanctions and insult tweets left and right, and breathing down both the North's and China's necks. But it's hard to say just how much of that is actually responsible for Kim Jong-un's renewed interest in peace, if he's even truly interested. Seeing Trump and Nobel Peace Prize in the same sentence is mind-boggling enough, but it isn't even the worst part. Former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung won the prize in 2000 for setting up a summit with the North. His widow wished the same to Moon, who then went on to endorse Trump. So the possibility of Trump being awarded a peace prize? Very real? He's definitely all for it. The rest of us, not so much.
How does a presidential impeachment work? With a backlash growing over recent Donald Trump controversies, including sharing classified information with Russia, a growing number of Democrats are calling for the president to be impeached. In the U.S., the process of impeaching an official is a three-step process, and often more political than criminal in nature. There are 3 offenses listed in the Constitution for which a president can be impeached: treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors. Since the third reason carries no definition, whether or not an offense falls under that category is up to the members of the House. Articles of impeachment are first reviewed by the House Judiciary Committee to determine if there are grounds for removal. The House of Representatives then puts the motion for impeachment to a vote. If the majority are in favor, the president is impeached, and the process moves to the Senate. A trial is held, after which the Senate votes for conviction or acquittal. If 2/3 vote to convict, the president is relieved of his position and can be barred from holding office. Historically, no president has ever been removed from office. Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton were both impeached but never convicted. With Republicans currently dominating both the House and Senate, the likelihood of a Trump impeachment is slim. So unless damning evidence surfaces and Trump loses a significant chunk of support from his party, it seems the president is here to stay.